polity related essays. How far has democracy in India delivered the goods? Try this. So what is the framework that you will take to attempt an essay like that? Tell me. What will be your framework, Sunil?
We can go chronologically.
Chronologically. Okay.
Like after the independence, how we went for the right to property, I mean distribution of land. I'm relating it that
To
way.
independence.
After the independence, abolition of zamindari and all that.
Okay.
Then Garibi Hatao campaign by ministers. Then I will come to recent times. Then 1991 economic reforms, how it benefited the society, what changes it brought. Then we'll talk about National Food Security Act, social justice, reservation, Mandal Commission, how it benefited the people from lower rung, and MG Narega, midday meal scheme, right to information, right to education, then women's safety, maternity benefits, then secularism, how we still maintain the peace and harmony.
Okay.
I will talk along these lines.
Devansh, any other outline?
No, sir. I'm thinking of a plot, but I cannot get a plot.
Okay. Anurag, you have any idea?
Sir, I will go with what is the democracy first. Means thinking in the aspect of minority or from the side of the minority. Then I will talk about the
No. Anyway, I forgot to ask. I mean, what is your answer to how far has democracy delivered the goods? What is your answer?
I will talk about first the.
No, not you will talk about. I am asking you. What is your answer? Answer first, and then we will discuss what to write. So do you see, you are silent. It means you didn't develop the answer. You are thinking in terms of what to write.
sir.
You should first answer and then what to write. Okay, what is your answer and why that is your answer? So that is the way. What is your answer? What is the question? Anurag, are you following?
Yes, sir. I'm just thinking on that. Like,
See, so you should first answer and then work out how you present your answer. Okay. So answer and then think about why that is the answer and why some people don't agree, why people have different opinions on it, how they would argue. And that conversation is the essay. Sunil, did you get my point? Okay. Tell me, how far has democracy in India delivered the goods? What is your answer?
But it has delivered. It has delivered as going by the age of the independence, we have delivered enough, and we are still moving in a progressive direction.
Okay. So tell me positive things then, if you think it's overall positive.
So we have worked for the social justice of people from
Social
like
justice of which people?
poor, the backward caste, socially and educationally backward caste.
Fine,
Then
fine. So here, what is the comprehensive way to look at India? I'll tell you here, think of constitutional preamble in the constitution. So what are the goals that we have set for ourselves? Socialism, secularism, okay, democracy, unity, integrity, and how we resolve. Okay. So you can go for that framework. So that will cover economic dimension, political dimension, gender, caste, poverty, equality, fraternity. Okay. Because that is the goal that we have set for ourselves. The problem with chronological handling is you are not discussing the dimensions, how things are related, and finally, what is the overall judgment. Okay.
yes, sir.
You can discuss caste, gender, okay, economy, growth, okay. But where are we failing?
Environment destruction, climate change.
Environment, inequalities, pollution. Okay. And then is political system just? Okay. Communalism, majoritarianism. So from political point of view, communalism, majoritarianism. Economic point of view, social justice. Neglect of agriculture, rural poverty. What is the developmental model? Okay. So here democracy doesn't mean simply political, because democracy is a political concept, but it is supposed to deliver certain economic goods, political goals. Okay. So how far we have delivered? What is the crisis that we are in today? Okay. That makes a good answer. Economy, environment, Okay, conflict, secularism, all these things. So go by area wise and then say this has been done, but these are the issues. Or on the whole, this has been done and these are the issues currently. And you can compare with other countries. What is our democracy? It was more procedural. We have been running elections, getting people elected. But how much did we deliver is an issue. Maybe one can compare with China, which is not democracy and that delivered a lot, at least in economic sense. Okay, but maybe better than in some other countries. So this is how we should go about. So for all these questions, take preamble as the reference point. Okay, and link it to the current or contemporary issues. Okay. Devansh, what do you say?
Yes, sir. So, but then what will be the tip?
The tip I would say is growth without justice, growth without inclusion. Okay. You can take lack of justice and then environmental crisis. So people wise, economy wise, and environment wise. That can be the answer, I think, because that's what we did in the end. What do you think? In fact, India's growth model is a threat not simply to India, but the whole world. Given the way it is polluting, the way it is contributing to climate change. So definitely, this is not a model that is dreamed, that is dreamt and planned and sought to be realized. Okay. We just have numbers, population growth, regular elections, and some wealth creation. Wealth creation. But other than that, what did we achieve? I'm not at all clear what we have achieved. We were not really original in any sense, like we were original in freedom struggle. We were not original in economic model. We continue to have problems with the neighbors. We did not resolve them. And how is democracy a problem? Because democracy also meant populism, inability to work on long-term problems. Agricultural crisis is because of inability to work on long-term problem. Foreign policy crisis, inability to take unpopular decisions. These are all democracy-led problems. That's what we discussed when we were discussing Plato and Aristotle. Okay. Because politicians are interested in somehow coming to power and retaining power. Okay. So we may be better than certain countries, but given the ideals, given the dreams, given the freedom struggle, given the leaders, India has been a disappointment. Okay. In comparison to people who have lots of violence, dictatorships, India is better. Is it not so?
Yes, sir. I mean, some people would tend to compare with countries like North Korea or Pakistan and say that we have
That's
done
true.
better.
North Korea is too bad, but Pakistan also is bad. So compared to Pakistan, North Korea, but why? India was far ahead at one time. Or it was a great civilization. It was a great colony during the British Empire. And the way it sought independence, great. And one of the earliest countries to get independence. English-speaking population, huge size, and then democracy. So it got many things right, but what happened in the end? Nuclear weapons, GDP, noise, environmental confusion. It is not a model to anybody. There are no ideals. Okay. That's how I see it.
Sir, one more thing.
My
Sir,
reference
usually-
point is philosophy, civilization, and Gandhian leadership. Okay. So India is not a leader. It hasn't reached its potential. Its democracy meant having elections and ability to change ruling parties peacefully. That is what we achieved, and that is good. But that is not enough. Devansh.
Sir, usually it is said that, I mean, in general, that civil servants have to be positive about our country. So can we take such a critical conclusion?
We are saying we have done something, but not enough. And then we are also saying in my conclusion, I am positive in the sense that what is our potential? I'm not saying that it is all doomed. It is just that my comparison is different. India cannot make it is different from India should make it. That's how I look at it. Who is more positive? The one who is saying India did not lead and it did not live up to the ideal, or somebody who compares with Pakistan and India did great? So who is positive, Devansh?
Sir, the one who points at the potential.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm asking you to do. Okay. What China achieved economically, India should have achieved in other areas, which included politics, but it didn't. It's not a leader in any sense. There is no innovation. Okay. So if you believe that India has always been like this and it is doomed, then that is a different issue. And then we are only saying in terms of its own ideals and goals. How many people have these goals? How many people chose to be democratic, secular, and socialist? Not many. Some people are confused about role of religion. But India made an explicit stand, took an explicit statement, made an explicit statement in preamble. This is what we stand for. So it set for itself higher goals, higher ideals. So we are taking what is called a larger perspective, bird's eye view. What happened to India and what is happening now? What was India at one time? India is still trying to catch up with the West in the areas that they excelled, and also in the areas they themselves are rejecting economic model. So I take constitution I take the preamble, I take freedom struggle. I take that at one time India provided the ideology for the world. That was what Buddhism. Buddhism inspired many religions. People even now still think India is a source of wisdom. Indian gurus do well, extremely well all over the world. Because people think wise people come from India only. Okay. Didn't you watch in that Gandhi movie? The British people have weakness for Indian saints. Okay. So that is what India represented. Where is that innovation now? There is no innovation. There is no innovation in the face of so many challenges that the world has no solution to. So that's how I look at India. What do you say, Deepti?
Yes, sir. Sir, but can we discuss a little bit about why India has stopped being a source of such wisdom or innovation?
Thank you. Thank you. My idea is that Indian wisdom is not of the entire society. It is of some individuals, be it Buddha or Gandhi. We have some kind of an exotic tradition, spirituality. Even now we had Jai Krishnamurti, Ramana Maharshi. They are extremely unusual people. Okay. We have certain extremely innovative people. Okay. In fact, we have innovative people even in maybe in science, in economy. Okay. But we were not able to transform it in terms of collective growth, in terms of society. Why so? Probably Hinduism itself is casteist. It doesn't think about the totality. It thinks about few people. So whatever, remember in Hinduism, we have extreme untouchability, and at the same time, enlightenment, Advaita, we have very high-end philosophy as well as mean practices. So what India should have been, I would say, implementation of that high-end philosophy and transform the society. In fact, people like Aurobindo thought of like that. That is the India that they wanted. But then we didn't establish any connection. We blindly trying to emulate the West. What is this nationalism? What is this GDP? What are these nuclear weapons? What are these stupid border conflicts? So ugly. Okay, so there is mediocrity. So collective mediocrity, but some unusual talent. So why I praise Gandhi is that it was Gandhi who tried to give a collective expression to some wisdom, which is a rare kind of wisdom. But after that, nothing happened. And what is going on now is the worst kind. Okay. So my first point is that there is really no innovation, no leadership. It is blind imitation. Because of blind imitation, we didn't solve problems in the way we would have solved. It would have been right to solve. Okay. So India has the potential. India has that leaders. But then collectively, we did not exercise that wisdom in our collective political life. Deepti, what do you say?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hmm. Even now, yeah, even now, very recently, that Facebook founder and Apple founder had as one guru in India. But Facebook founder also came to that place. So there is still this thinking that in India there are some great people. And that is true.
Sir, apart from wisdom, if we look at science,
Apart from?
wisdom and philosophy,
Hmm.
if we look at science also, India could not make any remarkable achievements.
That is true.
Is it
That
just
is
a
true.
budgetary constraint or
That is,
or whether our political system is hampering?
no, on the whole, there should be a system of innovation, higher education, and things like that. We didn't really achieve like that. But let me tell you, in terms of reasoning, rationality, which science requires, the West is more qualified in that sense. America is more qualified because their best is reasoning. Their best is not wisdom and mysticism. Their best is reasoning, thinking afresh, maths. I mean, that was what Western tradition excelled, and that is how it got all these things, scientific revolution and all other ideas. I mean, I'm just comparing India versus other countries. India's best is not science. Okay, so Western image of India is not wrong. India's best is in some other field. But based on that, we could have created political and economic institutions. But we didn't even try. It was not even a debate. We wanted to be like everybody else. And finally, we didn't. That's how I see it. So I'm really comparing India's best at a global level. What do you say, Deepti? Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Even now, how many people can talk like Sadhguru in the world? I would say very, very rare. We may have some objections to what Sadhguru talks, but very unusual. What is the source? Again, Indian tradition. Even worldwide, there is a philosopher like Eckhart Tolle. I mean, world-renowned philosopher. What is his source? Major sources are from India. Okay. So we had we could have created our own economic and political institutions. I mean, not much. It is not a problem with political institution. Economically, models could have been different. Economic model could have been different, more environment friendly. and politically, foreign policy making. It could have been friendship, not pursuing power, pursuing justice, compassion, peaceful resolution of disputes. We didn't do any such thing. So my reference point is wisdom and philosophy and plus freedom struggle. Our freedom struggle also is hugely innovative. But I'm asking after that what happened? Nothing. Is my point clear at least, Deepthi?
Yes, sir.
Devansh?
Sir, can you tell a few features of this alternate system that you envisage that we could have built?
Few ideas.
Few ideas of what kind of alternate system, what different from West?
Thank you. Go for an economy where it is not pursuit of consumption, but rather health and simplicity. But that doesn't mean not going for capitalism. You can go for capitalism, but having an idea of right end, health, simplicity. That's what Gandhi talked about. And then pursue a foreign policy that promotes peace and compassion. Don't go by nationalism. That makes so much a difference. The foreign policy model is different, economic model is different. What more do you want? It will automatically create a different political system. If you ask me, one major achievement is gender empowerment and caste empowerment. These are two important things. And the idea that we are democratic, of course, that is an achievement. We are able to speak freely, we are able to write. It's not an easy thing. But then we are comparing with some other countries. We were always speaking and thinking freely only, even before, even before, not just now. Okay. So economic model could have been different, environmental model could have been different. That was what Gandhi was talking about. Foreign policy could have been different. And then we could have thought that the power is not everything, wealth is not everything. Okay. Then education would be different. In what sense our education is different? Just rest on education. So we could have gone for a different model and given that model appropriate education. It's like that. So that would make, for example, look at what Bhutan is doing. Bhutan is pursuing its own model. Says it is my culture, it is my religion. That's how country should be. We are Buddhist and we will follow a Buddhist model. Okay. We didn't do Aurobindo because I have not completed, but Aurobindo had a different vision. So for India to educate the world, India should be free. His position was like that, a spiritual vision. So India had great thinkers, Tagore like that, Tagore, Aurobindo. They were not people who were simply imitating the West. It is not only Gandhi, great thinkers. Of course, we discussed Ambedkar, who looked at everything from justice point of view. That is a great thinking. Okay. And there are people who had whose extremely unusual insights, but who never talked about politics. But if you explore what it meant to politics, it would be a completely new vision. Ramana Maharshi is one such. What is politics? If he's right, that would be a completely different politics. For example, okay, yesterday we were discussing, in the last class we were discussing gender, right? When one woman complained that she was harmed like this, or maybe something like rape, Ron she simply said, can't you forget it? That is a wisdom. Can't you detach yourself with your experience? Why are you tied to that memory? Tell me, who can say that in this whole world? So in my opinion, collectively, Gandhi was the last person who was innovative. After that, there is nothing. It is mediocrity and hypocrisy. Devansh, what do you say? Did I partly answer your question?
Yes.
Gandhi was very serious about health and materialism and selfishness. He had an alternative economic model, alternative health model, alternative environment model. But he didn't impose his ideas. He simply debated and wrote. And by Gandhi, Vinoba was influenced, Jayaprakash Narayan was influenced. Jayaprakash Narayan had different views on Kashmir, but he didn't do other than writing critically. How can India in 60s would have gone to war with China on such an issue, where there was very clear solvable dispute? Kashmir is another blunder. Then after that, nuclear weapons. In which direction were we going? There is no meaning.
Sir. Sir, if a question, sir, if India hadn't developed nuclear weapons, so Pakistan would also not have developed.
That's true. More importantly, we didn't need to have a conflict with Pakistan because there is a problem with Kashmir and resolve it. That is easier way. Why should we think Pakistan should inevitably be enemy? Not necessary. And what are you? What is your civilization? What are your values if you can't solve a simple problem with your neighbor? You should think that not able to solve is there is something wrong. Not that there shouldn't be problems. There will be problems between two people, between two countries. But then you should solve what you can, and after that, new problems will come, and that is what life is. But what have you done towards solving problems? So this is not right thinking at all. Okay. It is like because of the power, position, not really talented people came to politics. Just what Plato's criticism was. Democracy won't attract the best, won't attract the wise. It would attract the people who would win elections. And how would you win in a democracy? By pandering to prejudices. Take, for example, populism. Agriculture is the worst kind of thing. It is a disastrous policies. Why did politicians pursue, even though it was so suicidal for the farming community? Why didn't the politicians try to educate? That is a clear political failure. How do these subsidies help? Water subsidy, fertilizer subsidy, all kinds of subsidies destroyed the agriculture. That's political failure. Why is it a political failure? Because politicians are refusing to educate. They want votes. So these are all problems with democracy. Agriculture is a case of populism. And where is the focus on villages? Again, it is biased towards urbanization, biased towards flyovers rather than simple water tanks and water harvesting. Okay. But Gandhi talked about these things before. It's not that nobody talked about. Gandhi was talking about. We didn't even discuss. So when we became nation, we framed a great constitution, but after that, there is really no thinking which is in tune with those goals. We just made those sweeping resolutions, and after that, we were trying to imitate others. Okay, Devansh, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So I would say positively the fact that we are democratic, elections are regular, and the governments change peacefully. We are not warring with each other. So these are positive things. Gender empowerment, caste, these are positive things. Many modern facilities, positive things. But then in terms of what we could have been, that's a different story. Okay. Next, similar question.
Sir, I have a question.
Uh,
Sir, we are talking about the original thinking and all that. So, you said that we do not have original thinkers now. So, does like countries like US and other have original thinkers we are talking about?
countries like what?
Countries like USA and China, let's say, do they have original thinkers we are talking about?
China, what original thinking? China went, it's following Maoism. China's very soul is the problem. That thinking, that model is not correct. It followed Lenin, which was wrong. Mao, disastrous, and they don't know how to get over. So they're generating wealth and don't know how to, what else to do. And it's a pursuit of wealth and power again. But at the very core, they're so scared. That's not the right model. Definitely, there is no original thinking. But remember, but the democracy, capitalism, these are the result of original thinking in the West. That is original thinking only. How did we get democracy? How did we get? For example, Marxism is original, Leninism is original, but that went wrong. Like that. There are some original ideas in certain countries. No doubt. These modern institutions came from the West. That was original. Entire modernization was original coming from the West. But we also had original ideas of a different type. So different alternative thinking would have been possible. Because take the best, democracy is a great idea, capitalism is a great idea. But then we also have an ideas of what life is for. So why did we forget that?
Sir, one more thing. So the way we are talking about environment and the concern that we disregarded in our economic model. So had it been the situation that we have adopted that model, then won't we have criticized India that it did not adapt the Western model where we could have solved the the economic inequality, which we would not have been able to solve in the model we are
Maybe
talking
we would
about.
have solved differently. Now, how are we solving this economic problem? This model is inappropriate. I mean, now, no. The basically, even if we pursued in a particular way, then I don't know what you are.
Sir,
what
I'm
you're
saying,
saying.
the economic model we are talking about wouldn't have generated the wealth we needed for such a huge population of our country. So that means it would not have been possible to reduce the inequality we would have seen in that model. Then would have taken the stand that had we adopted the Western model, we would have been able to solve the inequality, and that the Western model would have been the better one. So I'm going on that line of thought.
So, what do you think is a better outcome?
Sir, I'm saying that Bhutan is able to do independent thinking.
Is it that you will say that you would have criticized and like that, or what would be a better model? What would be a better outcome?
Sir, I'm saying that for Bhutan, being a small country, it was easy to adopt that economic model where they respect the environment, everything. But
That's fine. But then in India, we have Kerala, which has done much better with less growth. We don't have to go to Bhutan.
But then still, sir, we find floods and landslides and all that ecological destruction we see during rainy season. Even that is not perfect. Going by that. So even we see landslide in Wayanad and that regions, and so many deaths happen during rainy season. Even that is not what
That's
we
not
aspire. So I am saying Bhutan was able to do it because it is small, but we couldn't have done it because we are so big and so diverse and so many people. So the model we have adopted suits what the number of people we have. Of course, we can of course aspire for the ecological consideration, but that point of time, so much inequality, so much poverty, what we adopted was good. I'm saying it that way.
No, even at that time, people were saying India's population is huge, so Western model is not appropriate. Because Western countries took away huge resources. The world was not developing and they were developing, so they took all the resources. So that at that time itself, it was pointed out that Western model was not right for India because the model required many people not developing and some people developing. So we knew that at that time. And we didn't know about climate change, but we knew that the resources were limited. And so it was an exclusive model. So only some people were getting benefited. Okay. So we knew that. What was Gandhi discussing? What was Gandhi writing about at that time? What was he debating? I mean, these are all the issues. That is one. And more importantly, since we are talking about Indian tradition and wisdom, wisdom required understanding of what is the end of life. The end of life is not more and more wealth. So what should it be? And wisdom also required that greed is not everything. Then what is required? So going by wisdom, many other things are coming. I mean, we are just looking in terms of what wisdom meant to economic and political models. They didn't have an idea of what is the end of life, what are the goals. Okay, so that is why I'm saying that the Indian wisdom was not converted to political and economic systems. You can't talk about them because they really, I mean, not that there is no wisdom, it is not their specialty. So it is in that sense. India had certain things. So what I'm saying is that there is a wisdom, but economic and political systems disconnected with the wisdom. Link with the wisdom and try to find out what is good and what is bad. We take capitalism, but need not be on greed. So what does it mean? We are a nation, but we will not pursue power. What does it mean? Okay. So it is this thinking we needed to have, which we did not have. I mean, am I clear, Sunil?
Yes, sir.
Because they didn't have the clarity on the higher end. They have no idea what the purpose of life or what. I mean, it is beyond them. They simply discovered that selfishness is good and capitalism, power. It's like that. Actually, the entire westernization is about discovering how bad man is. Okay, his greed helps, he is greedy, he is power hungry, his power has to be channeled, his power has to be competed with other power. That's what westernization is. So nothing wrong, but if you are really unique, you try to find out what is your best and how do you respond with the outside world. Just take Gandhi as an example. Gandhi had that wisdom, but integrating, accommodating others, and gave an innovative solution to the problem he found in his life. I'm just saying what Gandhi did India do it? It did. I mean, am I clear?
Sir?
Just 1 second. Sunil, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
I'm just saying that you have wealth and you didn't use it, you didn't invest it properly. And your wealth is so precious. You forgot your wealth and blindly emulating somebody else. Sunil, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
So they once tell me, am I positive about India or not positive?
Yes, sir. I mean, when we write,
I think
we have
BJP
to.
would love my arguments.
Yes, sir. You present a Bharatiya culture viewpoint on economics and politics, not like a Western culture. So you can be a BJP leader then.
Oh, yes, but I'm giving the essence.
Sir, but sir, this economic model problem, sir, the entire world faces this because no one has found an alternative. Even Corona, when things stopped, now the entire world is trying to restart that cycle of consumption and production. So they are not stopping; they are still moving in that same direction.
That's
So
true.
it's so that question that Sunil asked, that if India does not have the original thinking, then which country today has that thinking? Who is coming up with an alternative?
Thank you. Which country is thinking? In fact, the West is realizing, has realized. But India wants to be like the West. That is worse. Remember, when the West was doing, it didn't know. It did it out of ignorance. But now West knows that it made a mistake. And how can you say that I will continue till I exhaust, come to your level or whatever, and then I will think? That is not the way to do. So the West may be more rational consumer of Indian wisdom, more rationally looking at things. Because it has realized that there are issues, it made mistakes. Okay. Remember, I am saying that there is a real something here and it has to be expressed in political and economic systems. But okay, coming to BJP view maybe we were great and we will excel you in that mean thing. Where is the connection? We were great. Buddha is great and so we will make nuclear weapons. What is the connection? That is the poverty of thinking. Am I clear, Devansh?
Yes, sir.
We were great at one time identity, but now we will do these things. Power, hatred, wealth. Where is the connection to the wisdom?
Sir,
In fact, it was Gandhi who got the connection, and Gandhi, finally killed by these activists only. So it is not that my great grandfathers were great and now I'll be. It is about what is to live by it. That is a different question.
Sir,
Devansh, am I clear?
yes, sir. Sir, what I understood by our conversation is that these problems, these are unsolved, and it was India which should have come up with a solution
you.
based on our wisdom.
Thank you.
So the reality is that nobody has a solution, but we could have been the one who could have shown
Exactly.
that new way. We did not do that.
Yes, I am very well pleased. That is my viewpoint. In fact, Indian political thought had these traditions. That is what I'm impressed. We discussed Tagore, but Aurobindo is also a similar character. Gandhi Tagore discussion. It's great, far ahead of their times. They had some wisdom, what the tradition was saying, and how should they be. So essentially, there were some original thinkers and great individuals. But later, it's like what happens to democracy, as Plato describes. Okay, just populism, mediocrity. Now this is worse. Democracy deepening means it is going to the lowest kind of emotions. Okay, so these are all problems with democracy, the gap we discussed, the gap between democracy and wisdom and truth. So I would say democracy should be an institution where truth should finally rule. Democracy cannot be prejudices, mediocrity. It can't be. Democracy should make every effort to save itself from democracy. And then how to bring truth, how to bring wisdom. These are age-old issues. And currently, not only we don't think like that. We think simply getting elected and having majority is democracy, or that is ideal. So that is a summary. India had the capacity. They were thinking. People were debating. But what did we do? That is my question. I am not going to ancient India and Buddhism. I'm only banking on simply India's phase during freedom struggle. That is enough. Because freedom struggle is the starting of modernization. So in that sense, we made a good beginning. But after that, what did we do?
Also, sir, the problems which we discuss, although we discuss in the context of India, but they are global in nature, because we
That
see
is
that
true.
entire globe is tackling
I
with
would
similar
say,
issues.
thank you. I would say that is what leadership is. Leadership is to provide solutions that everybody is trying to solve, to issues everybody is trying to solve. That is leadership. But what kind of leadership that we think of? Nuclear weapons, UN permanent seat? And are we called to a big table in the discussion on Afghanistan? What mediocrity is this? What are the global issues? And how are we solving? How did you solve your border problem? How did you solve your communal issue? And then people should be shocked and then see, how did you do it, and let us learn. That is not hypothetical. That's what Gandhi showed. So what problems that India solved that others wonder, wow, you solved it and now we will learn? Nothing. So somebody was discussing in India-China context, Chinese think very, very poorly of India. So that Indian is offended, but why should he be offended? China admires US, not India. It doesn't even think highly of India because it says, what did India deliver? What did democracy deliver that our lack of democracy failed? Simple question. If you have not delivered, don't praise, you don't talk. Simple question. We may reject, but they have the right to reject ours. We may reject theirs, but they have the right to reject ours. On the other hand, if we delivered and then democratic, then they would wonder, wow, how did you do this? So who is praising Indian democracy except in the sense that it continues to be democratic? They're not saying, yes, they were democratic and they made it. They did this. What is that to be proud of? Devansh, are you following?
Yes, sir. We tend to look at the barbaric ones and say that we are the civilized ones, not knowing what are our own weaknesses.
Okay.
Sir, I have a question.
Similar. It is similar question. Take this. It is similar.
Sir, one question.
Oh.
Sir,
What?
the quest for truth is difficult process, sir. So can we say that Western world has gone through that phase, and that is the reason it can know that what they followed is wrong. And since we haven't gone through that phase, and yet we are in the process, that's the reason we don't know if what we are following is wrong. They
No,
have realized the truth, but we are.
Quest for truth.
Sir, I'm comparing truth, knowing the truth and realizing the truth.
Okay.
So I'm saying Western model has gone through that phase, environment destruction and development and all that.
That's true.
And now they are realizing the truth, but we haven't gone through that phase.
That's true.
We know the truth, but we
the
haven't realized it.
wisdom is to find out, learn from others' experience. We are taking their technology. Why don't we take the end result of the technology, end result of economic model? They have gone through World War I and World War II, destroyed themselves. And why don't we understand? They have gone through what nationalism can do. And why don't we understand? That is what learning is. Why only consumption is the model and not anything else? I mean, am I clear, Sunil?
So that is what I'm saying. We are not able to realize. We know the truth, but we are not able to
That is
realize.
true. I understood your point, but I'm saying wisdom is to understand certain things, though you have not gone through it. I mean, I'm not clear.
No, sir, you are clear, but I'm just comparing with the enlightenment.
That's fine. That is fine.
The person who is enlightened would always feel that you can get enlightened, but you never know what enlightenment is. That's the reason we do not know what
That
they
is
are
true,
talking
but
about.
we are not talking about enlightenment. It is simple things about consumption versus environment. Nationalism. I talked about only simple things. Nationalism, wars, consumption. 3 things.
Because that is true, sir. But still, I feel that realization is the essence. I might be wrong also.
That is true. It is not there, and that is why I am saying we have not succeeded. I'm saying that is how we should. We should learn those things from Europe and US. That is what wisdom is. So next question. That question also is similar. Okay.
Sir, in democratic setup,
Huh?
sir, in this question of democratic setup, can we also compare them with China?
Sure.
Like
very
non-democratic
much.
countries.
You very much compare China with India and then say what have we achieved. So do you know what they are calling India? They are calling India procedural democracy. Procedural democracy. They just have regular elections, peaceful elections, and they change rulers and nothing much. Whereas they are saying democracy has to be, political system has to be judged by outcomes. And they think that is why they are good. You can reject, but whether they are right about themselves or not, they are right about India. Procedural issues. So they are saying that we should judge the system by outcomes. Finally, what you get, not that we are following rules. So that is a point. So do you know why people are watching China and people are comparing? Because after all, it achieved certain things. Its achievements are shocking. So given that, one can think in terms of what is the cost. That is a different issue. But there is something to watch, something to observe. So it is like that. So why would they respect India? Not much reason.
But sir, their model has given only economic outcomes. They don't know what political freedom
Exactly.
is.
That is why we are not accepting their model. We can reject. But their criticism of India is valid. That's my point. What have you achieved? That's definitely one way of looking at India. So if you think democracy should not simply give you freedoms to speak, but in the end, it should achieve certain things. Okay. So that is it. Next, try this. My vision of. Okay, try this. How you link. Just tell me whether you can write critically. Try this. Is an egalitarian society possible by educating the masses? How do you go about this? Deepti, can you answer it? Answer it first and don't tell me how you are going to write about it.
Sir, can you give the statement one more time? Oh, yes.
No, it is
I
there
have
on
it
the
in
chart. Okay.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes. Sir, I think the answer is yes, but it will take a longer time.
How? Why do you think how can an egalitarian society be possible by educating the masses? What kind of education will you give to masses, and what is an egalitarian society?
Sir, an egalitarian society is where all the people have equal access to opportunities, equal rights, and equal participation.
Okay. So how will educating masses will help?
First, by educating the masses, they can be made aware about their current position and what they have to grow to, what is their potential, how they have to achieve a better standard of life and other things. Next,
So
they will be aware of the
they
political
may
right.
know, I mean, you mean to say they may know how to get jobs? That's what you are saying?
No, sir. I mean to say, suppose like Ambedkar educated the masses, that you are not lower than anybody. You should have the confidence to behave like equals.
Okay.
That you are an equal part of the society. But why you are being treated like this? How to overcome that?
How will they how will he overcome when he doesn't by simply education through education?
Sir, when unequal classes of the society are aware that they have rights.
No. What I'm saying is that everybody knows rights. So, for example, if you say that the poor are poor and ill-treated because they are uneducated.
Yes, they are uneducated and also they don't make a claim. Suppose government is giving so many schemes, but they are not aware.
So you mean to say if they are aware, then they will make use and then do what?
Yes, sir.
So do you mean to say the poor people are poor because they are ignorant?
Yes, sir, I do believe because whatever benefits government gives, half of it gets leakaged.
But if they are getting leaked, what would the poor people do? What should they do?
Sir, when they make a strong claim, when they go and demand with the leaders, see, we are the real beneficiaries. We should be getting these things.
So do you mean to say if they make a strong case, the government will listen?
Yes, sir. Yes. Apart from that, education will also improve their income levels and the economic standard of life also.
But then rich people also will be educated and their incomes will grow further. So you are saying poor people will be better off, but how will they ever bridge the gap between the rich and the poor? Unless you are
Sir,
saying
I
that
need
the
a
rich
moment
people should not be given any education and the poor people should be given education, and rich people should not be given any opportunities and the poor people should be given opportunities, then they
No,
come to
sir,
be
I don't
equal.
mean to say that. No, that is not possible. That is not right also.
But then how will they create egalitarian society? By helping the poor? By helping the poor, of course. Poor people will be better off than what they are now. But it won't create an equal society, right? Helping the poor is not the same thing as creating an equal society.
Yes, sir, yes.
Isn't it?
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, can
Anurag,
we?
you're trying something. Anurag, you want to say something?
Sir, can we say that yes, it is possible, but use education as a mean for capacity building, and then how to use resource.
No. What is your answer, Anurag?
Teach the poor or
What is your
yes,
answer, Anurag?
yes, it is possible through capacity building, not only education, but how to use resources.
No, you first of all, do you think one should tell the rich people or poor people?
Uh, one should tell to rich people because they are in power.
One should tell rich people.
Yes.
How to be educated and how to use skills.
Yes.
So they will be richer.
Sir, but they have power. Already there is means capacity. They are with capacity building, but they are not using the resources in right way.
So that's true. They will use the resources and they will be richer. How will they create an egalitarian society? What is meant by an egalitarian society? Anurag?
Means equality.
So how will education create equality? You are saying rich people will learn, will be educated and will learn skills and they will be richer. They'll be more powerful.
Sir, but they are not educated in that direction. Means they are thinking only in majority perspective. Means how to become rich and not to take the those who are backwards.
You mean to say the rich people should be educated to share wealth with the poor? Is that what you meant?
Sorry, sir?
Nobody succeeded in such an giving such an education. Are you saying that rich people should be educated to share wealth with the poor?
No, sir, not share wealth, but give some resources that or
Give some resources, that is true. But what you are saying is that how the poor can be helped. You are right. But that does not mean egalitarian society.
Sir, an egalitarian society need not be
So Deepthi, tell
homogeneous.
me, so what is egalitarian society then?
Sir, an egalitarian society need not be homogeneous that everybody has the same wealth. There
So
might
tell
be
me
some
what
people
is,
who are,
that is why I'm asking you, tell me what is egalitarian society? You said equal chances, equal opportunities, and what else? You can tell me what is an egalitarian society.
sir, everyone should be in equal capacity to use the resources.
Sir,
But
there
what are
should
the
be no limitation.
ways and how will education help?
sir, can I try?
There should be no limitation on how much a person can grow. That is an egalitarian society.
There should be no
No
limitation on.
limitation on how much a person can grow.
Okay.
If a poor person has to get the highest level of education, he should have the path and resources to do that.
That is true. But it is true of rich person also, right? You are saying there shouldn't be any limitation. So rich person also will study further.
Yes, sir. He can. We cannot and should not stop that.
Exactly. So there is inequality.
Sir, we can address inequality only by lifting the lower people, but not by suppressing the higher people.
But how can you, that's true, but how can you address the inequality? You are only saying how the lower classes can be helped. You are right. But how, that cannot be egalitarian society, right? Why are you equating egalitarian society as a society where the poor people are also helped? Okay.
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, we can understand egalitarian society by what Rawls said. So no absolute equality, but also absence of extreme inequality. So that there is
What?
liberty.
Egalitarian society as?
Sir, using Rawls' theory, that no absolute equality, but again, no extreme inequality. So people enjoy liberty, but still there is a differentiation principle, so that we push up people who are lagging behind. And here, education, we can say that.
So why don't you reject the idea that egalitarian society can be created through education of masses? Just reject it. Why do you want to defend the statement? So you say how a better society can be created through education. That's all. And then what is there other than the education? Rawls' theory is a good idea, but Rawls didn't think he was creating an egalitarian society.
Sir, what is the way to create an egalitarian society?
Maybe there is none.
Sir,
What makes you
can
think
we,
there is a way? Huh?
Sir, can we use Gandhiji's idea of Sarvodaya?
Egalitarian society was there only in a primitive communism, hunting-gathering societies. There was no egalitarian society anywhere. Somebody thought at the end of capitalism it would be there, and it was not true. So why are you using egalitarian in a very loose sense? It is not. You are defining in a particular way, and then you continue to use in a very loose way. That is not true. Egalitarianism really meant equality. And egalitarianism was there only among hunter-gatherers. Right? Hunter-gathering society is called egalitarian society, absence of classes. And Marx thought at the end of capitalism, because of inherent contradictions in capitalism, that would collapse. And again, communism will come. That also was supposed to be an egalitarian society. No classes. But nobody saw any such society anyway, except in that hunting-gathering tribes. So one can say education helps, reduces inequalities. And then how a better society can be created through education. And then you can also say education is not everything. You are equating Deepthi, poverty is with simply ignorance and rights. It's not true. Even if you know there are systemic constraints, it is not about knowledge of rights. It is about the structure, resources, so many things. It is just simply because people criticize and ask the government will do. No. Government can crush, government can assault. Lands are being taken away from the poor people. And what are they doing? Not because they don't know the rights. Some of them are becoming violent. But what is the use? So education enables. But how to give education itself is an issue. As we discussed, who has to educate and what? Education is not something external to the society. Education is part of the society. But even that, because education is about skills and thinking, it is limited. And more importantly, even if you do everything, that cannot be an egalitarian society. Nobody found any such society at all. Egalitarian society is only a dream. Which means, coming to essay topic, really apply your mind. You just thought, okay, something on education, then you wanted to defend. That is just not the way. Just see what are the words. Can I criticize this statement? Can I redefine? Essay is about writing what you know about that topic and making some profound or significant point. It's not blindly defending. You are equating it as if importance of education. That is not about importance of education, but he made it specific. Egalitarian, education, two things he linked. So then you have to see the connection. Then only you will get an idea. It's not simply that what is the importance of education. Your answer is about how education helps the lower classes. It's too obvious. But is education everything? Not. Who should give education? That is a more serious issue. And even if all these things included, will egalitarianism come? No. Only when you think like this, you will have something to say. Otherwise, in the first paragraph, you will say how important education. In the second paragraph, how important education. You won't make sense. So the democracy essay is that you can't miss, but it is a matter of through which framework you will be able to say more things. There is not much to criticize that. Other than broadly, it has delivered enough and more to be done. That's a very reasonable thing. But this question is not like that. This question has certain things, certain specific comments to make, certain links it made, and you have a reason to disagree, dissect, and say this is unreasonable statement. So which means you need to think. Deepthi, are you convinced? Am I clear at least?
Yes, sir. I understood the
Exactly.
process.
Because Deepthi, you made a first mistake is that you thought you should say positively about that. That's the first mistake.
Yes, sir. True.
You didn't apply. Why this egalitarianism? How can you come? For example, if your roommate makes any such statement, what will you say? No, don't. I don't agree. You will say like a real person. But as a student in an essay writing, you just wanted to support the statement. That is wrong. Okay. So if somebody says you will create an egalitarian society, you will say, no, how is it possible? Rich people also will do like that. Whatever I asked, you only will ask him. Outside the exam or outside the essay discussion. So I only asked questions which you could have asked, which you would definitely ask. Is my point clear, Deepthi?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So
Sir, how
apply
to
your
begin
mind.
Deepthi,
Please.
which are when we decide to contradict a statement? How
It is
to
not
begin
that
such
we.
essays?
No, first of all, you don't decide. You examine and see this is definitely a wrong statement. How can egalitarian society be created through education? Egalitarian society, nobody able to create any such society anyway. Okay.
Sir, how to write the introduction for such
say,
things?
Education will create a better society, but not an egalitarian one. That's all. Examiner will understand. Okay, fine. That's all.
Okay, sir.
Our education is one of the tools in creating a better society, but definitely nobody can create an egalitarian society. Over.
Complete answer in the introduction.
Exactly. I said introduction is something to say, I understood the question, I have an answer, and this is the direction of my answer. But before that, Deepthi, you should answer the question. So never think in terms of what to write. Do you see that I have said it so many times, but still people are tempted to think what to write. So that is why coming to your realization versus actually knowing, exam also is like that. Essay technique, interview technique also is like that. You know it, but you should make mistake and then understand, Ayyo, why did I make this mistake? Then that is closer towards realization.
So life is like that.
Life is like that. You are right. That's true. But let me tell you, some people learn fast. Okay, some people learn fast because they somehow, previously they learned the art of learning. Okay, so then they realize, why is he saying, what is the mistake he is possibly thinking? Something like that. Okay, but knowledge and realization are different things. So that's why anyway you need practice. So anyway, I knew exactly in this essay, I knew kinds of mistakes in both. In the first essay, democracy, you are not likely to think very comprehensively. And you will think comprehensively when you go to preamble. That is what I wanted to say. That is one. And in the case of egalitarian, very likely people would think in terms of the importance of education rather than what is the specific statement he is making. Okay. But without making that specific connection, then essay becomes too general. Doesn't convey